Welcome to Worst to Best, a series where I'm ranking every gun within a weapon class after I unlock Diamond Camo and have tons of experience with each weapon. This episode is all about the marksman rifles of Call of Duty Vanguard. I'm going to jump straight into things. All I ask is that if you enjoyed the video, make sure you tap that like button and please consider subscribing to the channel. See the graph on the screen. I'm trying to improve those stats. They're kind of embarrassing, so if you like what you see, consider subscribing. So with that said, coming in at the number 3 spot, the worst marksman rifle in Vanguard is going to the M1 Garand. If we take a look at the damage on the M1 Garand, it's going to be a 200 millisecond 2-shot kill no matter where you land your shots on the body, and this actually outguns a lot of the base weapons in this game if you have a decent trigger finger and can land your shots. But that's as good as the M1 Garand gets. It will not kill any faster unless you opt for its one-shot headshot barrel, which is nice if you're accurate and can land headshots, but if you're not landing headshots, it becomes a 3-shot kill to the body and doubles your time to kill. The M1 Garand also happens to be the only marksman rifle that has range fall off, so at extreme ranges it can take an extra shot to kill, which sucks when the other marksman rifles don't have this. It has the slowest reload speed in class and the smallest magazine size, which results in you reloading this weapon often while you're leveling up. The Garand also has the most recoil out of the marksman rifles. Now, a mid-season 1 patch just went live that reduced the recoil on the M1 Garand, so it's not as big of an issue as it was before, but it still feels like the M1 Garand is the most unpredictable out of the 3 marksman rifles when it comes to recoil. And optimizing for recoil reduction in your class setup makes the M1 Garand sprint to fire speed stat very sluggish just with the way the attachments are set up with this weapon, which isn't a concern that you have to worry about for the other weapons. So overall, the M1 Garand is a decent weapon. It's very consistent, but you hit the ceiling for this pretty much straight from the start, which is why it is the worst marksman rifle in Vanguard. It just leaves much to be desired when the fallen weapons can be so much better. At the number 2 spot for the marksman rifles, we have the SVT-40, which is a slower marksman rifle in terms of fire rate and handling speed, but makes up for those drawbacks by dealing incredible amounts of damage. The base damage for the SVT is going to be a 2-shot kill, which clocks in at 300 milliseconds. That is a bit slower than the M1 Garand, but you can 1-shot to the head without any attachments, which is very attractive for a semi-auto rifle. And this weapon improves significantly with 2 attachments that are unlocked fairly early on. Those attachments are the 800mm barrel and the British magazine. The British mag will forfeit your 1-shot kill potential, but increases the fire rate for a 200 millisecond 2-shot kill, essentially making the SVT an M1 Garand. The 800M barrel is my preferred attachment because it extends the 1-shot kill down to the upper chest and elbows. Pairing this barrel with the vital proficiency that you have access to on this weapon extends the 1-shot further down to the waist and the forearms, which makes it incredibly easy to get 1-shots with this weapon. On top of all that, the SVT also boasts infinite damage range, so you can obliterate people at all ranges. But of course, this comes with some downsides, and the downside really is you just have to deal with a slower playstyle with the SVT. The 1-shot setup does make for a slower fire rate. The weapon has the slowest aim down sight speed in class, and the optimal attachment setup is going to slow down your aim down sight speed significantly. So you're going to want to be more passive with this weapon than you usually are and take time to set up your shots rather than, jumping around corners and being hyper aggressive, at least for the large 1-shot setup. You also will need to account for recoil. Now, the SVT does not have much recoil, but the recenter speed is very slow. So when you're firing off shots rapidly, it's going to cause the gun to drift up because it just can't get anywhere close to the center before your next shot fires off. But the recoil doesn't jump side to side at all, so it's really easy to account for and hit your shots once you get used to adjusting for that kick. but the SVT is extremely powerful. It's arguably the best gun in the game with the one-shot setup. It's like a mini Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle. It's definitely a better M1 Garand if you kit it for the two-shot route, but I just don't think its firepower is enough to justify it being the best marksman rifle in the game, which is going to the G-43, which is a faster firing, easy to handle, but lower damage marksman rifle. If you're shocked at the G-43 being the best and you think it's absolutely trash, PSA, it's probably because you're using the two attachments that you need to steer clear of and never touch ever again. Those attachments are the full auto barrel and the 6.5mm mag. Both of these attachments increase your shots to kill and the time to kill significantly. Even when you combine these attachments with some of the better attachments that are available for this weapon, they're still bad. They will never be competitive. Do not attempt to use them. So with that said, the G-43 takes 3 shots to kill rather than 2 shots like the other marksman rifles, but its time to kill still clocks in at 200 milliseconds. So if your trigger finger can keep up with the fire rate, it's just as good as the M1 Garand and the SVT. The G-43 also can kill in 2 headshots, which clocks in at 100 milliseconds, which is really attractive. There are also 2 attachments that will improve time to kill that you will want to consider. You have the rapid fire barrel, which will speed up your time to kill a bit. There's practically no downside to using it also. It says it harms recoil, but I found it practically does nothing to your recoil. The key attachment though is the 30-06 magazine. This will bump the damage up to a 2-shot kill, which clocks in at 150 milliseconds. This is going to outgun a good amount of weapons that you can use in Vanguard. G-43 also has infinite range and very little recoil, so you can get this 2-shot kill, at all ranges. It's very versatile and very easy to use. I think the only downside to the G-43 in terms of damage is that it is not able to one-shot kill at all, but it still kills very quickly. Plus it has faster movement and handling speeds that help make the weapon stand out. It has a faster base aim down sight strafe speed than the other marksman rifle, and there are multiple attachments that can improve stats like aim down sight and sprint to fire without causing noticeable downsides, which is pretty much the opposite of the attachments for the SVT. I will admit the G-43 was kind of annoying to use at first because it takes 3 shots to kill and you have a 10-round magazine. Just felt wonky and you were frequently reloading, but you do unlock the 30-06 mag at level 25, which doesn't take much time at all to unlock, and then you'll just be chewing through enemies. And actually, most of the good attachments are unlocked fairly early on. The G-43 gets good fast. Just stay away from the full auto and the 6.5mm mag. You're just going to be asking for a bad time if you use those. Hey, maybe you disagree with me on a marksman rifle, or perhaps my entire list. As always, you're encouraged to comment your own worst to best list, but make sure you try these class setups on screen before doing so. These classes are built for each of the weapon strengths that I discussed throughout this video, and are what you've seen used in the gameplay. I even got 2 class setups for the SVT, one for your one-shots and one that forfeits the one-shots for ease of use. Be sure to check out my worst to best playlist for more videos like this. Don't forget to like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you'd like to help support the channel directly, you can check out some of the links towards the bottom of the description. Peace.